You have landed on planet EDM. With transportation provided by Cube World Media. Come explore a place where the difficult takes a day and the impossible takes a week. Your one-stop shop for live media, events, and music. This is the portal where we delve deeper into the soul of EDM culture to bring to life a world that is unique to itself, where the possibilities are endless and the opportunities are plentiful. Welcome. You have now entered the matrix of Cube World Media. Here is your host, Kevin Maxwell.
Hello, this is Kevin Maxwell with the Intercontinental Chamber of Commerce here in Houston, Texas, with my co-host and president of the chamber, Reggie Gray, and our special guest here, Danny Nguyen. Welcome, Reggie. Thank you for being a part of this and the start of the Houston series of the documentary, and tell us a little bit more about what our goals are, and Danny, and what we're doing here.
Well, Houston, as you know, is the fourth largest city in the U.S. and it's got a lot of great things. It's known as the oil and gas, of course, capital or energy capital of the world, and we do have the world's largest medical center. A lot of other great industries, you know, with retail and theater and things like that. But one of the things that I have found recently, the past few years, that has really been coming on strong, that most people may not realize, is that there's actually a great retail and fashion emergence here. And in my opinion, I think a lot of this is being led by this gentleman who has really started Houston's Fashion Week. And that in itself has become iconic and led to other multiple events and things that go on. And really, if you refer to that in the grid show, as he puts it all under, Danny Nguyen has really been the iconic and the persona of fashion and for Houston and in the industry. And we owe him, I think, in my opinion, a debt of gratitude for the way he's put Houston on the map and creating some ground, and it is still growing. So Danny, if you wouldn't mind, give everybody a little bit of background about you and how we got going here.
So I'm a designer first for the last 18 years in Houston. I've been traveling around the world doing fashion week, fashion show in New York, in Milan, in Paris, in LA, Vegas, Miami, Thailand, Shanghai, Singapore, and other places. And I realized that Houston, like you said, is the fourth largest city, and we need fashion here. Yeah. And the craziest part is we're the most philanthropist city in the nation.
Yes. And
with the most gala. Every week there is a gala, a charity function going on. And with that being said, a lot of influential ladies and men need custom clothing. So it surprised me that they go outside Houston to go get these clothes. So why don't we bring it here and have them come to Houston and support local designer and local boutique in Houston to build a better community, a better business model, and to grow international growth into Houston to create better GDP for the economy here.
You're right. Now, how did you get started in this, though, Danny? This is kind of a unusual thing, I would think, for a young man.
It's family business.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm from Vietnam. I came here when I was 6 years old. My parents are tailors and seamstresses, and since we came to America, they didn't know anything career-wise, so they stick with what they know, which was being a tailor and seamstress. So they started a little small shop back in the 90s, and I would have to come help them after school. Like when I was, 9 years old, the average age of, Asian child labor.
Yeah. I know how that is. That's when I started too.
Yeah, so I've been sewing since I was 9, and I didn't know what. In my life, I thought I want to be a sculptor, a painter, an artist. So I never thought I was going to be a fashion designer. But it happened because, every college kid have a crisis, when they don't know what they want to do in life. And mine was pretty bad. And I was at my mom's store working, helping her out. And I was like, I don't know what to do in my life. I'm gonna be stuck here sewing, be a a tailor the rest of my life. I didn't want to be a tailor the rest of my life. And then a friend told me, hey, you should do fashion designing. I was like, what the heck is fashion design?
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. And so I did some research. I was like, oh, this is a real thing. It's a real career. So I started doing more research on it, took some classes on it. And at 26, I was like, screw it. I'm going to open my own boutique. So with no experience, I opened a little small 1,500 square feet boutique. It was rough because I didn't have the experience in business for this, but I didn't even have the experience as a designer. I was just a young artist that want to become a bigger artist. But as years go by and grew, I understood business more. I understood the concept of why I'm doing this. It's not just for the art, but it's also a service to the people.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, you realize that in any business, it's not the product that's going to sell. It's the service, the outcome that they want. So from a small boutique, we moved to a 4,000 square feet bigger boutique, and then after that, by I'll say midway in my career, we moved bigger. We got ourselves a big 6,000 square feet, like almost like a flagship situation. And then COVID happened, and COVID really changed the game. Rethink how we dress, rethink how we live our life. So I decided, you know what, let's become my own independent, not just a designer now, not just a businessman. Let's transition to an entrepreneur. So I was like, let me get my own place, my own building, and do this solo. I don't have to worry about no landlord. I don't have to worry about no complaint from neighbors if I'm throwing parties or anything. So what I do now is I transition from an artist to a designer, and I'm transitioning to a business person, an entrepreneur, businessman.
Good. Now you brought up a couple of things I want to get to. One, parties I want to get to in a minute, because you've become iconic for your parties in Houston and the way that you promote things. But even before that, with the stuff that you've been exposed to and the people, and of course Houston, even from the things that I've seen when I've attended some of your events, what are some of the best memories, or maybe some of the iconic people? Name one or two of the greatest things or the most memorable things for you while you've been doing this, even in the past few years.
The most memorable thing is have some of the local. Some of my clients from Houston are actually they're buyers of haute couture in Paris, like exclusive club in Paris where only a certain amount of members get to buy, like Chanel, Dior, Givenchy, haute couture, which is dress that costs minimum $20,000 to $60,000.
Sure.
And the crazy part is people don't realize majority of the buyers around the world came from Houston because they got so much gala, so much event to go to. So in Paris, the biggest fashion anywhere is Paris. That's what haute couture is at. And what people don't realize is back in the 80s and 90s, the majority of buyer were socialite in Houston that flew to Paris and go to these shows and buy these dresses. And a good amount of clients of mine that wear haute couture and became clients of mine is Karen Farr, Joan King Heron, and
iconic socialites.
Yeah, iconic
Houston
socialites,
within the
yes.
world. Yeah.
And Harriet, and also Lynn White.
Oh yeah.
So, and then now we have younger and newer up and coming socialite that I make clothes for. But the whole premise is that back in the 80s, Houston is oil and gas, but at the same time, there was a big booming of fashion. Even Halston was here in the 80s. And then we have, from Texas, we have Tom Ford, that came from Texas.
Yeah.
That's right. That became part
Gucci.
of Gucci.
Yeah.
So Texas and Houston, we are very diverse, and we have something that is unique here that is moved everywhere else around the world. So why not let them go? Why not bring them back to the state?
Yeah, very good, very good. Now, in some of these things that you've done, and I was talking about it earlier, the promotions and things that you've had, again, the fashion that you brought to Houston is fabulous. But in doing so, you've created these iconic events like Fashion Week in Houston and even some of these party lines that you do through the grid show. Why don't you elaborate a little bit on that? Because you've created a phenomenal kind of lifestyle and nightlife here, which helps enhance and bring spotlight to your design.
So how that happens is when I travel and do fashion week all over places, I realize that in other city there's multiple production company that hosts multiple party every night. You go to a daytime event, you go to a fashion show, and you go to after party, after party, after party, and every after party have a theme and have a concept. And when I do it in Houston, every time I do an event in Houston, it's always going to be something big and grand because we've never seen something like this before. But for me, I see it all the time, every 6 months, for every location. So I was like, why don't we bring the experience to Houston to show the folks in Houston what it is like really Fashion Week is outside of Houston. So that's why I started the Grid Show production company to host events throughout the city. And our goal with that is to help other businesses grow and expand their branding and to help them connect with more businesses to help them grow also.
Yeah, we had a good event last night for St. Patrick's Day, actually at the High Key with Jamie and all them.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit how that came about, how you met Jamie, and the purpose of the event.
So I met Jamie through one of my lawyer friends at another event. It was a lingerie event, surprisingly.
Nice.
So in Rubos, we met up there in Uptown Park. We had chit chat about hosting events at his spot, and so I was like, okay, let's test out, let's run, let's see how the fashion crowd and the business crowd are intertwined with the business, see how they work out together, and it worked out pretty well. And so now we're going to do more events there, and more events at more restaurant location, because our goals, like I say, is in New York and LA, because that's the closest thing we have here in fashion in the state. So what they do over there is they'll host fashion event and fashion mixer at restaurant.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that go to certain places doesn't go to certain places, you know.
Right.
So it's best if you host concept at one place, then host another concept at another place, and so people get a taste of different restaurant. And when you do that, it helps them build more credit to people they never met, and at the same time, it will help them build customer for the future.
I love that. So you're really merging fashion with business. That's
Yes.
what you're doing. And I think that's a really unique thing. Being from LA myself, I know that fashion's huge and business is huge. And that's what sort of brought us together through Reggie's introduction,
Yes.
which I'm very grateful for. We merge electronic dance music and events, with business, with networking, with socializing, and to have a fashion aspect combined with that, I think will give it a really interesting spin that sort of hits all avenues. So you're getting the film, you're getting the production, you're getting the fashion, you're getting the business, and everyone's having a good time with good food and good places and people. And I think that's the breeding grounds of success and contracts and negotiation and entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think a couple of years ago you had a series of fashion weeks, and there are so many parties. I've tried to attend as many as I can, but as you know, like each day there's pre-party, the event, the fashion shows, post-party.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you're just really getting up to start over again for a day. It goes on, 7-10 days?
7 days, 21 events.
Yeah, and it's phenomenal. And I remember one of my favorite was at the Porsche dealership, I think followed by the next night the BMW.
Yeah.
And then I think last year, November or so, one where we had the mixed variety of cars. I think I've heard from people one of their favorite pictures of me is standing over, I think, by the Lamborghini or something, and I'm given one of these poses. But anyway, with all this great stuff that you have going on, Danny, if I had to ask you, where do you see yourself, say, in 5 years? I'd love to hear that, but I'd also like to hear what's going to be your legacy when you're done with this. How do you hope people remember you? Like the way you've seen Ralph Lauren create his, Calvin Klein create theirs, and people could maybe give an encapsulator to find their legacy. What's going to be the Danny Nguyen legacy?
So that is a pretty big question.
Yeah.
Yeah. People say, oh, Danny is this, Danny that. He's a cocky dude. He's a mean dude. He don't care about anybody. That's what people, because the persona I have to move at a certain level, a certain pace, really fast. But deep down, I know I'm not the best designer in the world. I know I'm still a designer from Texas. Only few designers from Texas that still give me a 0.001% that credibility that I'm up there. But my ultimate goal is not to become the best designer. My ultimate goal is to curate the next generation. That's the reason why I start Fashion Week Houston, because when we do Fashion Week Houston, every season that we do it, we have a little competition, and the competition, the designer, for student design to be in, and if they win the competition, they get to go showcase in New York for free. That's how we help them. We help the next generation, bring them to New York and have them showcase. And when we do that, we save them $10,000-$20,000, and some stuff of that they cannot afford.
Yeah.
And it will give them experience to change their life in the future. So for me, a 5-year goal from now is I want to make Houston official around the nation. So every year during the same time, people will fly to LA, people will fly to New York, and they'll fly to Houston. That's what we want to do. So to bring all international design into Houston, and at the same time, we want to develop a company where we can help young designer to grow and become the future. Just like in Paris and New York with LVMH, where they have the LVMH prize and all the other sub-category they do where they help young designer to become the future. And these future designers are going to be the creative director of these big houses in the future. And that's what we want to do. We want to curate and grow young designer to become bigger houses.
Okay. Now this is a little bit of an eccentricity, but I really want to hit it. Obviously, you have Salvador Dali and somebody who I've had the pleasure of meeting, Shad Khan, with these iconic mustaches. Okay, so you got to tell everybody, how did you decide to do the handlebar, and which is one of your signature pieces here?
I think I started like 12 years ago with the handlebar. It's just I'm just a regular Asian guy, so I was trying to find a way to stand out, and I don't have a beard. I can't grow a beard. I wish I could grow a beard, so the only thing I could grow is mustache. But it took me 2 years to even have this. So the reason I did, because I want to stand out from everybody else, and it's something recognizable.
Yeah.
Like you walk in the room, you see a guy in mustache, oh, that's Danny Nguyen.
Yeah, it is.
That's it.
It's a great iconic feature and stuff, and you pull it off well, I might add.
It takes a lot of confidence to wear this.
It builds character, right?
Yeah.
So I always speak in body language and psychology. People remember you not so much for what you say and do, but a lot for what you look and are.
Yes.
And so they remember, like, oh, that's the guy with the mustache, or the guy with the rings, or the colorful outfit dude. And it creates this persona that, makes you unique. And I really appreciate that myself as being an artist, a DJ, and a producer of music. It's something you have to think about. So something cool too that I'm doing is making a mask and a full-on suit for Cubanoid, which is our next project, and gonna launch that as a touring artist with graphics and visuals. So a lot of what you're saying, I've integrated like fashion and design into character and costume, and building this whole other persona that's really gonna be a whole individual, separate entity for myself. And I see that's sort of what you've done with the Danny Nguyen persona and the glass mustache, the jade, and all the
persona is very, very important. It's something I developed throughout the years. I had many phases of Danny Nguyen, and this is one of it. But I feel like I have later on, I'll be like, I'll have a final version as an older man.
Well, what's your older man version, Danny Nguyen?
I'll be like a wise kung fu master.
Is that where we're going to see the ascot come out, or are you going to go total Asian?
And I just have my hand behind my back the whole time, just walking around looking, not saying one word.
Yeah. Kung fu of fashion.
Now, with all of the great experiences you've already gained, that I'm sure more will be coming, if you could pass on some direction to young designers coming up, whether they're in Houston or anywhere, what wisdom would you give them, Danny?
So the wisdom. Okay, I would say there's two people in the fashion world that I look upon. You know, that I admire my life. One of it is Karl Lagerfeld, because he is a man that does not fear to try new thing. The only designer ever in history to run 6 fashion houses at once.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Are those your eyeglasses inspired by him? Or?
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
More boots though.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay, yeah.
And the second one is Yohei Yamamoto from Y3, because I relate to him a lot because he came from a very similar background. His mom taught him how to sew. He didn't want to be a tailor. He wanted to make art all his life, but he transformed his art into the clothes. So that's what I did. I wanted to be a sculptor, so I transformed my sculpting into the clothes by sculpting clothes. That's sculpting for me.
Yeah.
And but both of them have the same ideology: is yeah, keep working, keep doing it, and that's it. Persistent and practice is the key, because the more the more you fail, the higher the fail rate, the more your success rate gonna come. So you just gotta keep practicing and doing it. And the reason why I like Yohei Yamamoto a lot, because he's actually a karate master. Yeah, and I'm actually a mixed martial art master. So
No way. What type of martial arts?
Vietnamese martial art.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yeah, they have many schools around the world. It's the biggest martial art in Vietnam, but it's
I
also
love that. Yeah.
and the what's this? The reason why I relate to him so much is because he based his whole fashion career and business on martial art principle.
Really?
Yeah, and that's what I study upon. And okay, let me reflect on mine, and I could do the same concept. So for me, it's repetition, repetition, repetition.
Yeah. Now you've kind of already alluded to some of the designers that have influenced you, but if you had to maybe mention any others, who would you say that has inspired you, maybe to get started or maybe still today, as far as other designers of the industry?
Other design industry that really reflect upon me will be Valentino, because I like him. I like his story, how he started from nothing to build $1 billion empire, and his only goal in his whole life was not making clothes, but to dress beautiful women.
Yeah, your gowns, I think, reflect. Now that you say
Yes.
that, I could see a lot of that influence in some of the gowns that you've done. Okay, that makes sense.
And so going back to the mixed martial arts thing, something I know from being a mixed martial artist as well, I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and I love UFC, trained with Affliction and a bunch of those guys. A lot of that transcends into business and fashion design and entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
Because the same dedication you have to be an MMA artist like yourself is very similar to the dedication of being a fashion artist even, right?
Yes, because it's in order, like, if you think about it, for you to sew a whole dress in a day, how much training do you need? How many years of sewing the same thing over and over again before you could do it in 10 minutes? You know,
Decades, yeah.
Decades. So that's why there's a saying, you know, mastery take a long time,
Yeah.
and to master anything take decades.
Yeah.
In Chinese kung fu, there's a saying. So in Chinese, the word sifu, right? It means master, but in Chinese, anybody could be a sifu. Like, prime example, if you go to a Chinese restaurant, all the head chef, they're called master,
Master
because
chef.
the master chef,
Yeah.
because they've been trained decade in that form. So everything's an art.
It is. And that's what I love about it. You know, I come from a world of designing commercial buildings, designing everything from building boats and different companies. And so I see design as an art form, same as you do, regardless if it's music, furniture, clothes, it's all an art. And the longer you practice at it, the more dedicated you are, the more innovative you are.
Yes.
That's what makes you really special and unique. That's what we can sort of see here. I mean, I've been all over Houston now, part-time Houstonian, I have companies here, and I haven't seen any fashion places like this. It's very unique. You see the European inspiration furniture, you see the Asian themes, you see the LA New York style, and it's a very unique flair, I'd say, for the city of Houston that I commend you for. And I think it'll be a great thing to bring more to the city and shed light on it, and have a lot of other people, like you said, internationally come here to start blowing up the idea of the Houston Fashion Week.
Yeah, because for us, for the last year and a half since we started official Fashion Week Houston, is that we have designer coming from all over the world to our show. We have design from Miss Universe, design from that does Super Bowl. Literally last season came to our show. Michael Ngo. We have Ken Barles. We had Genia Zara that does Beyonce whole Renaissance album and her tour. And this season we have Michael Cinco from Dubai. We're having a international design for Vietnam coming. We want to bring international stage to Houston.
And I think that's what Reggie's really good at, right? With the Intercontinental Chamber of Commerce, we could bring a lot of attention and light onto Fashion Week with our many members in 70 different countries.
Yeah. We hope to keep partnering with things to come, which actually transitions me to the next thing. So what's some things that are coming up that Kevin and Cube World Production could come back and maybe get a chance to catch some footage on or film?
Fashion Week in June.
Yes.
Yeah. For the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Every 6 months we do, just like New York and LA, every 6 months we do a Fashion Week.
And what's the dates on that exactly?
June 7 to 14.
7 to 14. Yes. And do you have any locations or events
We're
planned so far?
We're working on a few locations. Right now we're looking at either Magic Island, or we having one of our clients got a big 40,000 square feet 360 panoramic view of the city of Houston in Galleria. And we're gonna do inside of his building. So those are two options right now for the main day. And then pre-party, after party, we already have all our location. We have after party already done. We have restaurant that's lined up for the pre-party, pre-event, and now we just getting in our design in right now.
Yeah, you definitely got to come back for that. Fashion Week is just incredible, and you sleep a lot before you come because you're not going to get any sleep that week.
We want like I said, we want to give it that LA New York feel where you get up for brunch and you don't go home until 5 in the morning.
That's the best. That's how we live out there in LA. It's all we know.
For every day, that's what we want for the whole week. So then to see that, because we're the third largest city, let's make it the third largest city. Let's bring all the capital in, all the GDP, raise the GDP, and let's make us the third largest city.
I think that'd be great, especially with our other startup, Cube World Films. We have a lot of hungry young entrepreneurs that are excited to get this content out there and network and meet with people. And as we were talking about last night, a lot of people who are investors, streaming services and film people and all that. And I think the more light we bring to that to Houston, the more attention on your Fashion Week, and the more it'll grow as well.
Yes.
So tell us a little about the types of people you think that would be good to collaborate with and grow the ideas.
So the film world is coming to Texas. So they're mostly focused, San Antonio, Austin area, but we want to transition them to Houston.
Yes.
So good thing we are partnered with Vesta Streaming platform, and they have right now 8 million users on the platform, and we want to grow it more. And the best way to grow is to get new and up and coming talent to come in and create TV shows, reality shows, documentary, or even movies, short film, to have it on that platform.
Exactly.
That's going to be a great drive, and I agree with you. There's a new facility being built in the Austin area, and then of course you got Taylor Sheridan with his Yellowstone and Tulsa and all of his stuff, where he's got his production group down in Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. So there is some great momentum that's gaining in Texas. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Now something I'd like to know before we maybe break, and if you don't mind, maybe we could get some footage with you with a few of your designs or gowns, and maybe get some color, some comments about what you like about them. Some of the design and things to it, for some footage.
Sure.
But before we do that, is there anything else that you'd like to comment on or bring to attention, for us or the community or Houston, anything in general? You can open check.
Well, I think 18 years of doing fashion, I realized from the beginning is that as a young designer, a young artist, they don't want to help each other out. That's the truth. Young artists doesn't want to help each other out. So we need people that have been experienced like me to become a mentor and say, hey, it's okay to help your competition. There's nothing wrong with healthy competition. It'll help both of you grow, and let's see who win. And with that being said, mentoring younger generation is the key. That's the key to growth of the city.
I love that you say that, because I preach that every day, and that's why I joined the Intercontinental Chamber of Commerce, which is to grow people and young entrepreneurs as well as older entrepreneurs who are just starting, and give them a chance that they never had. And like we were talking last night at the high key, there is no competition. It's all about collaboration. And I think the more we all collaborate, from business, from government, from fashion to design to film, the more attention, the more light it'll get on us, and the more it'll show the world our true potential, what we can do. So that's genius what you're doing, and I'd love to support however we can with Cube World, the ICC, and all of us, and we'll definitely be here for your fashion week.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. And now I think let's take a break and let's transition, and maybe let's get some shots of you with some of your great pieces and some comments on some of the design elements that you've put into it.
Okay, sounds good. So this collection is from my Spring/Summer 2026 collection. We're showcased in Paris this season at Hotel Athena, one of the best hotels in Paris. This collection is based on flowers, and as you see, these are Japanese pleated fabric that we made to big petals of flower with hand beaded fabrics. And this one is also from my Paris collection that was worn by Miss Universe 2023, Shanice. And like I said, we like to have the flower element, but at the same time we want the flowiness, so we add feathers on the bottom of the outfit. So this is my latest collection that I have this season. So this dress is my first dress that I ever made for school back in 2009 when I first started my career. It's made out of completely 100% plastic and trash bag and tarp because I could not afford material back then, so I did what I could with what I had with my skill, and I made this dress and I won the competition, and this is what kicked off my career start, my fashion career. And then this dress is my first national competition that I won first place in, competing with over 1,000 students nationwide, and I won this with mohair fabrics.